Okay, this is solving a model using Excel. Okay, let me adjust my window here. All right, this is Excel on a Windows device. All right, the first thing we need to do is type our functions in. I am going to put my decision variables always in first. First, we're just going to label where they're going to be. So product 1 and product 2 are our decision variables. Now, A is just a label. These two blank cells, B6 and B7, are going to be our decision variables. Now, I'm just going to put a box around them. You don't have to. B6 and B7 are the decision variables. That represents what X1 and X2 are that we're trying to figure out. Okay? Now we're going to put in our profit formula. I'm going to go to A9 and just type profit, and that's going to let me know that my profit formula is going to be B9. Okay? So my profit is 20X1 plus 30X2. So anytime you type a formula, you start with equals. So 20, now I have to say times, click B6 because B6 represents X1, plus 30 times, click B7 because that represents X2. Hit enter. Now it gave me a 0 because right now B6 and B7 are blank. Okay. You can go in the cell and up here you can see what formula you typed up here at the top. Now I need my labor constraint. I'm just going to label A1 to let me know that this line represents labor. Okay, I'm going to type my formula. Labor equals 1 times B6 represents X1 plus 2 times B7 represents X2. Okay, now I'm just putting in the left side in B. Okay, the right side, the less than or equal to 14, I typed 14 in C1. My cloth constraint, the cloth yards, in B2 equals 4 times, click B6 because that represents X1, plus 3 times, click B7 because that represents X2, hit enter, and that needs to be less than or equal to 36. Okay, now I need to put in the solver. All right, I need to put in my solver constraint. All right, so what I do is I click File. Okay, click File up here at the top left, Options. Okay, Options, Add-ins, Solver add-in, click Go, and make sure it's check mark. Okay, so put a check mark beside Solver and click OK. All right. Now you should see the solver add-in. I'm going to have to move my window here. On this far right, you should see the solver add-in. Okay, so now click solver. Okay. What we want to put in, the set objective, I'm going to clear that out. Our objective is the profit equation where we typed the formula. Okay, so that's B9. By changing variable cells, click in the box. Changing variable cells are your decision variables. So I'm going to click B6, drag, let go, and I should have B6 colon B7. Now my constraints, okay, click Add. Okay, now my first constraint, I typed the formula in B1. It needs to be less than or equal to. What it needs to be less than or equal to is 14. Okay, I have another constraint, so I'm going to click Add. I click that I typed my formula in B2. Right here, it needs to be less than or equal to C2. Now, I also need to put those decision variables greater than or equal to 0, so I click Add. I'm going to drag and highlight B6 and B7. Now, they need to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and we're done, so click OK. Click Solve. And click OK. So we see that X1 needs to be 6.1, X2 needs to be 4 for a max profit of 40. Okay, anytime you click a cell that had a formula, you can see up here at the top what you typed in. Okay, and I shouldn't have done that, so let me undo. Okay. All right, and that's how to solve a model using Windows.